What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer doing another complete guide. If you're new to this series, basically, I take a deck that I really like, and it's usually a little bit different. I do a deck profile, go over a bunch of combos, and then I even put some gameplay at the end. Normally, it's like EDO Pro gameplay, but for today, it's going to be Dueling Book matches. I have two. One against Sword Soul Tenyi, and I do not remember what the other one is, but it's something, and it was a pretty good replay. But yeah, okay, we'll go ahead and get started. This is that Water XYZ. I've been playing it a lot. I've made quite a few changes, actually, from my last deck profile, which was like 2 weeks ago. That list is still fine. Like, you can totally play that. The only difference I would really make is number 4 Stealth Crag and putting it in, and then putting number 92 in the side deck. Other than that, the list is very valid, but this is what I'm playing right now. I like the consistency of it. It's all my deck profiles are very strange. I make very weird decks. I like to put a lot of 2-ofs in like these kind of like generic decks, and it works out pretty well for me. But there's a lot going on here, but I've been playing it a lot, and like I feel really comfortable with this deck, so I can tell you all about it. I'll talk about all the changes I've made, and we'll just go from there. So these are all the cross-out targets, but I do run 2 Ash and 2 Imperm. These are the most common, so like if you open one, you don't want to lose because like you didn't have another one in your deck. Also, it's like the deck does play 12 hand traps, so it kind of plays like a regular hand trap lineup. I also run, Dark Ruin and Mourn Forbidden Droplets as targets for, the cross-out designator. You could probably take out Forbidden Droplets, and like, yes, there really is like a lot of like hand traps for a deck like this. So it's like 70% consistent, and like in your ability to do some plays, I would say 50% pop off rate or whatever you want to call it. Like a hand that's like I would deem really good, and like the other 2 hands, like out of the 10, are like, yeah, you can kind of make a play, but it's not very powerful. That's how I built the deck, but I feel like I want to play the higher ceiling. Like, I don't really care about the lower floor, because like if you're playing against better decks, like you need to have a great end board or you're not gonna have a chance anyways. So I might as well go, go all out. But yes, 2 Imperm, 2 Ash, 1 Effect Veiler, Ghost Ogre, Nibiru, and then I talked about the other ones too there. So this is the lineup that I do. So you'll usually open up 1 hand trap, going first, which hopefully is enough to give you a chance going second. 2 BU2 I can never say this card. Beautiful Princess. This card is it's such a good and bad card. Now the good news is that it banishes at the trigger effect. So you can banish it so your opponent cannot effect Veiler you, because that window hasn't even opened yet for them to respond. The trigger act happens automatically, and then your opponent can respond, but at that point, those 2 cards are just out of the running because it's already banished. So yes, it does play around 2 fairly like largely used ones. It does hit Ash, and that's the biggest problem. And this is why this card's like it's such a blessing and a curse, because it gets you to Buzzsaw Shark, which is like insane. This card's just so good. And it kind of sucks to see both of these in your opening hand, but like it is what it is. It's not a super high statistical chance. But if it does go off, it gives you some cool stuff. Like if you have White Mirror, you can summon out the Lifeless Leaf Fish to like send a Buzzsaw, which can come back with White Mirror, or maybe you just go straight into Buzzsaw. Like this card does a lot, and it's super good, so I feel like you just kind of have to play it. And helps get more fish in rotation for White Mirror. Those were the biggest changes. I took out like Shinthana and everything like that. Mostly because it conflicted with Zeus Ascended Stage, but I wanted more targets for White Mirror, because this card is like the best extender like in the game. One of the best extenders like for any generic engine for sure. And then the 3 Buzzsaw, don't really have to explain that. Crystal Shark, it's not bad to see in your opening because it is just a free special summon, but sometimes if you go into Lifeless Leaf Fish, which is at 2, you can send it, so at least you have like a guaranteed special summon. It has to be used with number monsters to be considered a level 4. But that works well with Ascended Sage, like really well, obviously. But it can also go into Stealth Kragen, which is what it's designed for. But it's cool, there's synergy with both engines at the very least. 3 Silent Angler, like don't need to explain that. This card's insane. Xyz Remora, this is also a new card in the list that I haven't really introduced before. It can do some wild things, and you'll see it in a second in one of these combos. It can just help win you duels automatically. Aqua Spirit is also like an alternative, extender to Shinthana. There's more water monsters in the deck now, so I feel pretty comfortable playing this again. This was a part of like one of my first lists, and it's pretty decent. Okay, Arm Sage. yeah, like meh. Like the card, like it's definitely good. It gets you a lot of free bodies. Because I used to run that ZEXAL card, but it's like, I don't know, going -1 really sucks. And I was only using it because, like, to shuffle back, like, in case you opened your brick, which used to be, like, the Wind Pegasus, but now it's Galaxy Cyclone. But this isn't really a brick, so, like, I don't really feel the need to play that card anymore. And this is just kind of good for putting a 4 out there. Because if you have 3 bodies, you kind of have full combo anyways. But Ascended Sage at 3, like, the deck is, like, much more orientated around, like, having this card. It's very good. As just a free starter. It's an automatic go into like the Utopia engine. It's definitely necessary. Like, you could run the ZEXAL thing here, but like if you open both of them and you just have 2 of these, like it's kind of just like meh. You don't really ever want to be in a position to normal summon this. So I'm pretty comfortable with like the card ratio as it is now. Called by the Grave, you kind of just have to. It's a combo deck. Crossout Designator I've been talking about. I talked about these earlier. The Dark Ruler No More and Forbidden Droplets. Galaxy Cyclone gets attached with number 90 Photon Lord. It was that replacement for the Utopia monster that equipped the one from deck. Because just that card was just so bricky, and this card isn't a brick when you open it. And it's a good out for Mystic Mine. Hyper Rank Up Magic Utopia Force. Also not bad to open. It's basically like opening this. Kind of. It's not a body, but it does search the same thing. So if you can go into any rank 4, then you can go combo. Pot of Prosperity at 2. Basically what you're always going to do is you're going to banish 1 Bahamut Shark. You're going to banish 1 Totally Awesome, and usually you will banish the, Salamangreat Blaze Dragon. It just helps you get that 1 extra body, or maybe just get your play started, or maybe you can add Cross-Eye Designator and help you protect your combos. And then 3 White Mirrors. Card's crazy. In the side, so this is my, like, against back row deck. Like, it's kind of like what my big sideboard is, because you're not really going to make changes against any combo deck. You're always going to need these cards. But if you're playing a trap-heavy deck, this card wins you the duel, like, automatically. Because you can also combine it with Anti-Spell Fragrance, because they have to set spells and trap cards, so they can't Lightning Storm your back row. Or, they can't get rid of basically anything. So they're going to set all their cards, and then you just end phase, set 5, and then you just banish all of them. Or they don't play. And then you just win, because you have a bunch of high attack bodies on the board, right? But you don't need it in the main, because it's like you're usually not going to go into this like 90% of the time, and you only want to play it when you know you have to. Because that's where Stealth Kraken comes in. Harpies, 3 Lightning Storm, 3 Anti-Spell, evenly matched, so you definitely have that matchup against Trap Eldritch, giving yourself a pretty decent chance. Summon Limit. So this card's really, really good in the deck, because basically if you pop off game 1, your opponent's going to not see any back row because you don't play any. They're going to be like, okay, well, I need all the Dark Ruler No Mores. I need all the hand traps I can get. Let's say you're able to combo through, and that game 3, you lose game 2. They're going to be like, okay, I'm getting ready for this. And then they Dark Ruler No More you, like, and you don't have the protection. Like, with, let's say, Cross Out, they're like, haha, Dark Ruler No More. Like, your big old board does nothing now. And then they put 2 summons, and then you flip up Summon Limit. They're like, oh, I quit. Because you still have all those bodies on board. But now if your opponent Spears you, then you just lose. But, okay. Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh, I guess. Dimensional Barrier. I kind of have to with Cross Out. Like, it's just super necessary. You probably take out Forbidden Droplet. It's pretty easy there. Just to give yourself, like, a fighter's chance. You know what I mean? It's a target that I think a lot of, like, Despia players play, too. Okay. On into the extra deck. ZS Utopic Sage. Helps you grab Ascended Sage, and a lot of the times it also helps you go into F-Zero, which is pretty nice. Depends on the hand. 2 Totally Awesome to go with 2 Bahamut Shark there. Salamangreat Blaze Dragon, so if the card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can attach material instead. So pretty good for Zeus. That's literally what it's there for. Number S39, it pairs with, number 39 Utopia to go enter number 99. The F-Zero package here. Utopic Future and Utopic Draco Future. Photon Lord, number 90. You're obviously going to be equipping the Galaxy Cyclone, and then you'll have another one, because you'll also have the Rank Up Magic attached to it for another Monster Negate. Like, you're going to expend most of your extra deck on the first turn anyway, so you're trying to end the duel as quick as possible. Number 4, Stealth Kraken. I talked about this card. Number 39, Hope Harbinger, Zeus, and then, 2 Bahamut Shark. Okay, so that's the list. There's going to be a few changes in some of these replays. They really won't make too much of a difference. It's just the extenders in my main deck changed. Everything else pretty much stayed the same when it came to the extra deck. and we'll just go one by one. So a lot of these combos are going to start with Buzzsaw Shark one way or another. I think this is like pretty much one of the bread and butter combos. Oh no, this is me going. This is like, you see this card in your hand, like these two, like, oh, okay, like you're doing some pretty wild stuff. Plus you're like Crossout Designator protected as well. And then if you see White Mirror, it's just insane. So you can go ahead and go into a 4. Xyz Remora says you can just attach 2 from monsters you control. So you can attach 1 from like different places. That definitely comes up. But you do have 2 fish. Again, kind of the advantage I've made from like making my deck this way, where there's more fish, because this card is just like almost just too good not to play. Okay, so if your opponent tried to Nibiru at this point, you're pretty much good to go. And this is the only reason like I would go to this, because otherwise like this deck can make Nibiru under 5 summons pretty easily. But okay, White Mirror comes back. Go ahead and grab another Silent Angler. So you're already giving yourself pretty decent follow-up, but you can go ahead and go into Utopic Sage now. Detaching 2, go into Ascended Sage. And yeah, 2 4s there now. Didn't mess that up a little bit. Okay, so you already have 3 interruptions, right? Plenty more disruption to go. So you can go ahead and banish a water. This is not an activated effect, by the way, which does come up for sure. Okay, then you can go into number S39 and Ascended Sage effect to grab the rank up magic. Go into number S39, rank that up, mess that up again, oops. And then you can detach a couple materials. Go into the number 90 Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, and that's going to trigger the field spell because one of the, like a numbered monster was special summoned. So you're giving yourself at least 1 monster negate. And then during your opponent's turn, like it'll go during their draw phase, you can activate the effect again. And then you can also chain number 90. So number 90 is going to go ahead and resolve first. Basically meaning that the next time your opponent activates a monster effect, it depends on where it's at. So you can choose, like if you attach a Galaxy Cyclone, it's a negate and destroy. If you just, were to detach the hyper rank up magic, it would only just negate it. It wouldn't destroy it. Kind of like the Therion monster, King Regulus. But yeah, that is the first combo there. Oh, well, never mind. Sorry, I didn't see Hope Harbinger come out. So yes, you have an Omni negate, and then you would set this as well at that point, right? So if they had Dark World or more, it's not doing anything. And they don't, like Red Reboot wouldn't do anything. Like they just wouldn't be able to respond pretty much. But you have an Omni negate. You have a really, like a non-destructible, like from battle or card effect monster, which can take. This protects all of your monsters from being destroyed by battle. This is a quick effect pop. This negates and grabs spells, which can be very relevant. And then this number 90 is like a monster negate. Pretty darn good. That's a lot of disruptions. Okay, we'll go on to the second one. So this is with Tuna and Remora as well, so you can see what kind of cool stuff you can do. Okay, so Tuna can go ahead. Like this just starts your plays. Like you're off to the races at this point, because even if your opponent were to, like negate Buzzsaw, at least you can still go into your Utopia lines if they only have like 1 imperm. If they don't, like you can just do some wild stuff. Again, I probably wouldn't do this line. Like you're playing Riding the Nibiru and it would kill you, but let's say your opponent says go off King, right? Like that would be great. But you can go ahead and bring those 2 fish back. So I messed up here, so this is something really good to note. I was going to go into Bahamut Shark, but it's like, wait a second, no. Because here's the thing about this card. Yes, it does have text. The cards that you bring out can only be used for the XYZ summon of a water monster. This doesn't. This can be used for anything, but the ones you bring back can only be used for water. So it's like, okay, I need to play this right. Obviously, I'm just practicing, so it's okay to take something back. But it's good to know for future use. It's a little, like, bad to do that, right? Like, you're getting rid of your Stealth Kragan, but at least it's used for Utopia, and you can still go through, like, all of your Utopia lines as well. You don't have to do that, but like that's the route I ended up going with. And then you can go ahead and, because this is just like such a good card, you know what I mean? Like the pop, yeah, I don't know. Regardless, during your opponent's turn, obviously you'd activate this as well, like during their draw phase. You still have a lot of interruptions. It's close to being like just about as good as the last one. You just didn't have that, like the White Mirror extender is just like super overpowered. So it does some like wild stuff to be able to go like through all of your extra deck, but at least you still have like a really good board here. Okay, so this is another Buzzsaw Shark. This is like the bread and butter. If you look up water XYZ, this is the combo it's going to show you, and it's good too. Don't get me wrong. It's actually quite nice, and the reason is it's like, okay, you're going to end up with 3 interruptions, 2 Omni negates plus a monster, and in this case, I had like an imperm too, which is pretty nice. And you know, White Mirror brings this back. This is not an activated effect, which is great because whatever Buzzsaw brings out cannot activate its effects that turn. But again, this is just a condition, so it can freely special summon itself. 2 Bahamut Sharks. Bring out another totally. Detach, go into F0. But so yeah, it's like, oh, if you went through the full combo, you know, you'd have a lot more interruptions. But like you can't, like you're gonna tribute 2 of these totally awesomes, right? And you're gonna be able to get Buzzsaw and Angler back. Then you can just go through all of your combos again. You still have a lot of cards in your extra deck to go through. Plus, you probably still have this body on the board that's for protection. You have Forbidden Droplets. You have the Imperm there. And you even like have this in your hand. So there's really nothing your opponent can do to stop you from going through your Utopia plays that next turn, which is nice. So it's a good combo to know. Okay, so this is a pretty decent hand, obviously. Like, I see these 2 cards, and I'm like, all right, I should be able to do some pretty cool stuff. That's where Prosperity comes in. So, you know, you banish those 3. It is the Bahamut Shark, totally awesome, and Blaze. That's no debating, pretty much. So you can go ahead and grab the Crystal Shark there. I think I talked about this during the deck profile, but yeah, that's what makes Crystal Heart Shark so good in this deck specifically. Because you can go ahead and do some cool stuff like this. You can go ahead and... Oh, actually, I cannot do that. So it's a good lesson to learn. I cannot do this combo at all. I could have gone through like the combos like regularly anyways. I could have overlaid and gone through like the regular Utopia stuff. This can only be used as a rank 4 for numbered monsters. So poo-poo on me. I did that wrong. We will go to the next combo. It's fine. I ended up using Construction. This card's out. Like, this would just be a copy of this now. So like that's kind of like concrete proof that this is good. But okay, so you can go ahead and freely special summon that out. This is like combo protected, which is always nice. But you can go ahead and go into Buzzsaw. Let's see if we can find an extender. Like, that's the thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! Too. It's like your hands are always going to be so different, right? So these are like test hands I think are more valuable than like, oh, if you have these certain cards in your hand. Okay, go ahead and grab an Angler. It is an extender, so it does work. So you can go ahead and under 5 summons, bring out a totally awesome. Very nice. Meaning that you can kind of use this cross-out designator for maybe something more useful. Or you can use this Toad, I should say. It's probably more important. But then you can go through your full combo there. So your Nibiru protected combo here. And you didn't need the extra Toad, which is pretty nice. You can go ahead and rank that up. This isn't the greatest end board ever. It's good. It's like definitely not bad. A monster negate, a spell negate, and an Omni negate. I can't complain. Plus it's protected, you know, with Dark Ruin or more at that point if your opponent didn't use anything. So, yeah, for a casual deck, I would say pretty nice. Okay, we're going to see Buzzsaw Shark. Let's see if I make the same mistake with Crystal Shark here. Okay, I can go ahead and overlay into Bahamut Shark. Detach, go into the totally awesome. Then I can use Crystal Shark. I bet you I do mess this up. Oh, and you can probably go... Oh, it's an... Oh, okay, yeah, there we go. So I just talked about this. So it can be used for numbered monsters. So meaning that if I hard opened the Utopia Force, I forgot to overlay first, but if I do that first, I can still do the same combo, which is nice. That's what makes Crystal a pretty decent card. There's going to be plenty of times where you open that. And you can go ahead during your opponent's turn, use the effect, same interruption, same board. They're obviously going to be very similar because, like, this is what your deck does. There's no, like, alternate route combos. But those were the combos, and we'll go ahead and see what it looks like IRL, as the kids say. So he made me go first, and I'm like, that's weird. I'm going to let you go. Plus, I have a couple of, like, hand traps, so hopefully it ends up working out. Like, I feel like I was playing against Sky Striker or something. I just wasn't sure. This is a decent sign for me, because if he's going to lock himself into Tenyi's, I'm pretty happy. So I'm going to go ahead and negate there. I know this facilitates a lot of plays. And so he's going to go ahead and go for Shinthana now. That's fine. So this Gamma did nothing. It's actually very good that I didn't go first. So I do have the cross-out targets. Not for this. This card's awful. But I'm going to try to prevent him from, you know, being able to go into any of his extra deck. And it worked. But I did pass that first turn, so he's going to be able to get in for quite a bit of damage. And pass. Okay, so I grab Xyz Remora. And I'm going to go ahead and normal summon. This is the free special summon. I've talked about how much I like this card. I could have gone into Blaze, but it's like, okay, it doesn't really have anything, right? And again, he did go second, so I'm almost like thinking he has Gamma in his hand. I feel like it kind of makes sense. But I'm going to go ahead and attack over the 10-yi there, go into S39, and give myself a 2-pop Zeus. Pretty darn nice, pretty darn nice. And then I'm going to set and pass. No need to wipe the board yet. Obviously isn't doing anything. And I'm protecting this pretty decently, He's going to go ahead and try to go into the 10-yi. That's fine. And he's going to activate 10-yi, discarding the Gamma, which is kind of like, I don't know, because it's like, I'm going to wipe the board. Like, I guess he doesn't have a way to trigger it. Never mind. Makes sense. He's going to go ahead. I'm like, that's cool. I want to wait for him to activate the effect. He's going to try and use Dark Ruler no more. I do have the target there. Card is insanely clutch. And he's going to summon the token. I will activate Zeus on Res. Can't believe he didn't Ghost Ogre me there. If he did, it actually would have been like better for me. But I'm going to go ahead and attack. Better. Probably not. And then he's going to go ahead and get Dark Ruler here. He's going to set. Oh, I was going to say, like, why wouldn't he use Mo-yi? Duh. Like, he doesn't have any 10-yis in hand. That's so crazy. That's unfortunate. Like, I wish every time I played 10-yi Sword Soul, this is how I drew. I'd be so happy. But I do get the free special summon there. So now I'm going to just protect myself for whatever top deck he has. Although this is probably just game anyways. Actually, I don't think it is. This is interesting. What's Sudi top decked? It was an Ash, so it was nothing. I don't think I played that very well. There should have definitely been a way for me to end that turn. I'd have to think that through, but okay. So in the opening here, I do have Nibiru, Silent Angler, Construction, a little bit of an older card. This would just be like literally ZS, so it would have been objectively better. Prosperity and Shark. So not bad at all. This was actually like one of the things I did like about the card. It was Ash bait, but that's fine. Like, you don't lose the card. It's only when you search do you lose it. Prosperity can go ahead, send 3 there. I can grab the Arm Sage, so really it didn't make a difference, which is kind of funny. And I can go ahead and normal summon, special summon out the Arm Sage, effect a Buzzsaw. Surprised he didn't maybe go for the Ghost Ogre there. But I'm going to attempt to go into Utopic Sage effect to bring this out from the deck. Curious to see when he uses this Ghost Ogre, but okay, I can go ahead and go into Bahamut Shark. So I was trying to play this as smart as possible. I could go through all my plays and just be super vulnerable. It's like I was almost like baiting out a hand trap here. That was really like my main goal. But now that I have Totally Awesome, I feel pretty good because I can at least go into 2 interruptions for 4 cards. Like, yeah, like that's definitely something. And then I also have Nibiru if he does break my board, but I would be in a very bad place at that point. Although the silver lining is I do have Totally Awesome, which can help bring back a Buzzsaw Shark. Totally Awesome is great. It's unfortunate it's probably gonna get banned because of what's it called? I can't think. Sprites, whatever the kids call them. Whenever you start like this, it's just not good. I feel like it's not good. He's gonna go ahead and go for an Ashina there. Go into a Monk of the 10-yi Ashina effect. Right, because he's gonna he's going for Vishuddha, no doubt about it. So do I negate this? I probably do. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna negate the effect for him to bounce back. So at least he's wasting a Vishuddha. Like, that was really the main difference. But he's gonna be able to get it back with his Adhara. So yeah, I don't know. That probably wasn't the best move I've ever made. But he's going to go ahead and discard Nibiru, bring back the, Monk of the 10-yi. I'm surprised he doesn't just go to battle phase. He's going to attempt to use the effect. This can't be destroyed by card effects anyways, but it didn't really make a difference. but I did negate and destroy there. Like he can use Shinthana, but this can't be destroyed by card effects anyways. And I get to add back there. And he only has Ghost Ogre. Like he didn't have any plays. But yeah, he said GG's. And that was the end of the duel. There is one more here, and it is against DDDs. I think I won this duel. I don't remember. It would be unfortunate if I just like took a hard L, but I think I did. There is an effect for this to like add back from graveyard, I think. He didn't have anything. I think he tried to Foolish Burial. And I was like, wait a second, homie. I don't think that's what... That would be crazy if that's what that did. Could you imagine? There's a Foolish Burial with the Lamia. And he's going to go ahead and use Swirl effect to discard to special... Or to Fusion Summon, excuse me. Fusion Summon from hand. Then he's going to change those two. Oh, try to. Into a Gilgamesh. At least Gilgamesh gives him one interruption. And he's going to go ahead and set his Pendulum Scales. He's going to change that into... I always forget this card's name, but... It's the one that takes monsters, basically, when you activate them on the field. So it is a specific negate. But anytime that's normal or special summon, he gets to Foolish Burial. He's probably going to dump a Slime. Slime effect to banish itself. And another to go for another King Genghis. Then he's going to change those off into a Gilgamesh. Since there was a body special summoned, he can go ahead and bring that back out. I'm like, all right. I have seen quite enough here. Because if he overlays, I think he gets the Search. So it's going to go ahead and have like 3,000 attack. But this deck is like uniquely good because with Nibiru, because Kragan, your opponent takes burn damage based on its... Not if it's original, but what it had on the field. It also doesn't target, which is like super important. So that can come up for a lot of things, of course. But, you know, for this, Kragan, I can just go ahead and burn. He's going to take a bunch of burn damage. He's going to go ahead and try to activate Imperm. I will go ahead and banish my own Imperm. He's going to take 2,900. And then I get to attack for game. Simple enough. Going on into game 2. I open up with Ascended Sage, Cross Out, Ghost Ogre, Imperm, and Shark. So I do have a 4-play at the very least. He does not have a very good hand. He does not have a very good hand at all. So he's going to go ahead and go for Lamia. He's going to special summon that out. And he's going to set Effect Veiler, set Dimensional Barrier, pass. You know, that's interesting. It's like, you should definitely just keep this in your hand. Like, does this card literally just shuts off my churn? Now, if I was playing my most updated list, I definitely would have sided in. But that's fine. So, he does go for the Anti-Spell Fragrance. That's fine. And he's going to go ahead and go for Dimensional Barrier. You think he would have waited till I would have started playing my churn? But, okay. I'm going to go ahead and set Imperm here. Because I really don't have that many spell cards anyways. So I'd rather kind of fool him in thinking like this is the Imperm. And then I can like just shut whatever this is off like during my next turn when I get to go off. And hopefully he doesn't like open up something that helps him like play like crazy. Okay, so I need to get cards off the field. This doesn't say if you control no monsters. It says if you control no cards. But I'm taking inventory here. So I'm going to be able to, like, what is this card realistically? If it's Dimensional Barrier, I lose. Or I don't lose, but it's not great. But the other only card I can think of in the back row that this could be is either a bluff or another Imperm. So I'm like, I might as well just go for it, right? So I can go ahead and Imperm here to shut off this, whatever it is. And then I can call Cross Out for the Imperm. And go from there. Like I said, I don't know what these are, but that was at least a good guess. And these are 2 free special summons. Literally doesn't do anything. I can activate the Utopia. He can't activate any cards at this point, but it's Utopia Force. I can go into S39, go into the battle phase, give myself 2 Zeus pops, as well as having a totally awesome on the way. So I can go ahead and wipe the board. plus have the Omni Negate for whatever his top deck is, and have another one after it because Bahamut Shark will just be sitting there with one material. So this is literally like checkmate, like in chess. There is no difference. He does like there's nothing he can do, right? And he just go heads and admits defeat. So that's the deck. That is a very large look at the deck. Probably saw a lot of different stuff. The deck just is fun because it's like your end boards are about your creativity and like your knowledge of the deck. Like if you were just to pick it up, he probably would mess up a little bit. But those are the decks that I love to play. You know, getting better and better at casual. Just I feel like helps me become a better duelist, but also it's just like that's the way I like to play Yu-Gi-Oh. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time.